The term Karen is defined by dictionary.com as a pejorative slang term for an obnoxious, angry, entitled, and often racist middle-aged white woman who uses her privilege to get her way or police other people's behaviors. As featured in memes, Karen is generally stereotyped as having a blonde bob haircut, asking to speak to retail and restaurant managers to voice complaints or make demands. The term Karen is racist because it normalizes the creation of stereotypes, and normalizing the creation of stereotypes disproportionately affects disadvantaged minority groups. Please allow me to give one of many possible examples. Companies who provide goods and services are required to abide by laws as well as to live up to the quality expectations they set before customers through their advertising. When customers fail to receive products and services that live up to their expectations, are dangerous, or downright criminal, they may choose to seek redress from the customer service hotlines of the companies they have done business with, either because they feel this is the only option, or they feel the company may be able to offer assistance, or they may be lacking the societal privilege of being guaranteed prosecutory legal representation, a basic human right for consumers. In an article by Anthony Dukes and Yi Zhu of Harvard University titled, "Why is Customer Service Bad? Because it's profitable," Sir Dukes and Sir Zhu discuss how corporations with enormous market shares feel significantly more imperative to focus on issues other than customer service, often ignoring customers. Large corporations, as discussed, implement the hassle of bringing in a laptop for repairs or waiting for hours on hold just to end up speaking with a robot who then hangs up, because this reduces the amount of payouts the company must make to maintain their reputation. So, for example, giving discounts, refunds, and such attempts to ameliorate the customer's complaint. Their large market shares in instances of tech-heavy companies makes competition extremely expensive and therefore unlikely, and causes them to be able to withstand greater amounts of customer frustration as customers have little recourse or alternative. Simply put, making it harder for consumers to complain to a human being or to a company, or to receive redress to their grievances as consumers, swindled or otherwise, reduces liability and financial loss. One of my favorite YouTube channels, Veritasium, discusses planned obsolescence in a video called "This is Why We Can't Have Nice Things," linked in the description with my high recommendation. This video discusses planned obsolescence, how companies deliberately release inferior or faulty products in order to be able to release better and better products, or simply replacements for faulty, defective, or items that by design have short lives, in order to force consumers to perpetually buy new and newer products. As a bioengineering major who participates in Palouse RoboSub and Cougs in Space at Washington State University, I can tell you that funding is an enormous obstacle for research companies, and planned obsolescence likely shifts research expenses onto consumers. If companies merely waited until they had the best of the best, they would potentially go bankrupt due to competitors who utilize planned obsolescence without regard for the moral implications. Those competitors would also make manifold the amount of profit overall as well. Planned obsolescence shifts the expense of research onto consumers over time, since most consumers would struggle and balk at the idea of having to pay for a very expensive phone outright, and would prefer to pay for it over time. It is in this way that planned obsolescence can be defended by a devil's advocate, since it potentially decreases the expense of research, makes technology more accessible, and also represents the coercive nature of competition, forcing companies to produce inferior products, who some could argue makes planned obsolescence justified by virtue of necessity. In a research paper by Brian Ligobert of Clark College, of Lewis and Clark State College, titled Getting a Lawyer While Black, a Field Experiment, the assignment of lawyers to individuals of African descent in cases of personal injury and defense is almost half of the legal representation offered or available to Caucasian males. Brian Ligobert shows us in this article that lawyers are also less likely to respond to requests from clients of African descent than of Caucasian descent. It can be extrapolated, in my opinion, then, that these minorities in general are going to have a much greater difficulty finding legal prosecutory representation against companies should they be injured or seek restitution for fraud or failure of performing as advertised or any other such things, such as civil suits, or in general if they feel slighted. There are many valid reasons why a consumer may seek legal representation in the prosecution of a company. The memes and mockery of people who complain to management in an attempt to seek redress by labeling them with the Karen stereotype may make customer service representatives more likely to invalidate the complaints of customers seeking amelioration, or those whom perhaps feel unable to seek legal redress and feel forced to seek customer service alternatives due to difficulties in seeking legal assistance from lawyers, due, potentially, to their race. This invalidation, which is either neglected or intentionally designed to reduce payouts through consumer complaints, is in response to planned obsolescence, shifts the legal, criminal, and financial burdens of technology research and other company enterprises disproportionately onto the backs of those pertaining to minority statuses, including individuals of African descent. Karen is a racial pejorative. Thank you so much for watching, and I would like to know what you think about my claim using critical race theory's intersectional arguments. I will read your comments if I have less than 100 comments, and very likely will respond. I do look forward to hearing from you what you think, my dear viewers. Thank you so much for your attention. God bless you all, be safe, and goodbye.